broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome to the AFTERBUZZ TV Hannibal After Show, episode 11. I'm sorry, I'm here. Hi, guys.
Hey, Brett.
Hi.
Literally just walked in the door,
I just walked in the door.
We may have tweeted a couple things about it.
That's fine. The music started. I'm here. I'm glad to be here. I actually have Kaissi in studio with me here today.
Yes, I'm here. Hi, welcome, everybody.
And I also have the lovely Julia Cearley here in studio.
Yes, hello, everybody. Missed you all last week.
I'm sure no one is shocked to know that the lovely Joe Sanfilippo is not here. No one's shocked, but we're pretty close to a full panel. People were really upset, like, come on, guys, don't give up on the show. Like, it's get a full panel.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah, I like the voice that you gave them.
That's the guys. It's the Hannibals. Come on.
That is a good Hannibal voice.
Thank you for all your encouragement last week for me running solo and doing it on the phone. And thanks for still watching and listening to us as we rocket our way to what looks like the end of the Hannibal series as we know it.
2 episodes
left.
Can't even believe it.
It was a good run, right?
It was a good run.
Yeah, it was a good run. But we're deep into Red Dragon here, which is I think actually this whole Red Dragon thing is sort of exceeding my expectations. I really think it's really, for me, I think it's really cool and fascinating. We talked a lot about it last week. Mm-hmm. Du and I and some of the folks in the chat room talked about some of the comparisons of the book versus the 2 movies versus this, and sort of now we have 4 versions to look at of Red Dragon, and kind of comparing and contrasting. But I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying them taking the time of these 8 episodes to, was it 8? Yeah, I don't know, like 7, 8 episodes
like
to get to this. I don't know. How are you feeling about this, Dua?
I like it. I mean, every week I'm really stunned in just what they can do with it, cinematically. And I say this, I gush about it every week, that they take, it's difficult to take something that you already know about and kind of, up the ante and make it better and put your take on it and yet not lose the essence of what you think it should be. And they do a brilliant job.
Yes, I agree. Jules?
I freaking love it. I am totally 100% into it. I like this version of this TV show. So we've had this one version where it was kind of procedural. We had a killer of the week. Then now we had this version of them overseas, abroad, and this whole different world. And now we have a focus of this one killer.
Yeah, like a mini movie kind of.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying what they're doing with that. I think it's a really interesting take on the story. I don't feel like they had diverted too much from canon until this week. So I've been waiting for them to do something like that and seeing what he would do with it, and I'm totally in. I'm always in. I love you, Hannibal.
You bring up a good point about the storytelling, because you're right. Like, they did a sort of mildly serialized, not really mildly, kind of serialized version, but they still had the procedural elements in there, which was always cool in seasons 1 and 2. But then this last season, we've got like kind of 2 extended, very serialized, almost movies, like a part we have a part 1 and a part 2 of season 3.
Yep.
They're both very serialized. They're almost their own seasons. They're kind of mini seasons, and I like that Bryan Fuller are sort of breaking what we think about seasons, how stories should be told in seasons. There's the CBS version where it's kind of like, or Law and Order version where it's like procedural, everything's close-ended. There's the long sort of version, like, I don't know, Damages, or I can't think of any of the show right now, something serialized, Game of Thrones or whatever, that's like a long serialized, and this is kind of like, it's giving you a little bit of everything. It's just however we can consume that story. I think the only thing that matters is how we consume the story, and I think it's cool. That's all. I'm agreeing with you.
Thank you.
In a long-winded way. Let's talk about this episode. This was titled "And the Beast from the Sea." Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Now, are these all quotes from the poem? Is that what's happening here? Like, what are these lines? These are all quotes from the
painting.
No, from not from the painting. From the poem from the guy who painted the Red Dragon. Blake. Thank you.
I probably should have researched that. I thought about it. We talked about it, and then I never actually went to research it. I'm sure
somebody online would know.
They would, but I'm not logged in right now, guys.
I'm sorry. That was directly from the painting. I don't know. I'm not even going to say it. I don't know.
Okay. So anyway, this was cool. So we like you said, Julia, this one kind of we've been pretty much on book, like these first few episodes for Red Dragon, like on book literally, and on film, and like it's been pretty much beat for beat, with some exceptions, like Bedelia, who doesn't exist in the Tom and Sarah's universe, who's inserted herself here, but I actually thought the whole Will. I liked what they were doing. I thought the whole Will's family being attacked would come at the end of as a season finale, but it didn't. It came at episode 11, not even the penultimate. It came in now, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool device that they did. We've talked a lot about themes of family in this second half of this season. It's brought up over and over by Will, by Hannibal, from Milana, everyone. So to see them in that sort of situation now, and now we get 2 more hours to figure out how that's going to settle over Will and Hannibal and change their relationship yet again. I thought it was kind of a cool device doing it that way instead of at the end.
Yeah, we I talked about last week about Hannibal's on-screen motivations for for actually calling, for actually giving Will's address, and it seems to be what the motivation for this Hannibal, because it could be, jealousy. Will has his family. It could be betrayal. It could be one person I read suggested it's like an extreme version of like shock therapy to sort of push Will back to the dark side if his family's got lost.
That's interesting.
It's all these different versions of this. Did you come to any conclusion of why you think Will is doing this to her? Why do you think Hannibal is doing this to Will? In terms of getting his family killed, which you don't even be friends.
I spoke about this a little bit last week. I think for me, I think it is just kind of it just comes down to sheer old-fashioned jealousy. Hannibal has been so out of touch with the outside world, and he really kind of gets his jollies from, toying with people emotionally. How are you going to do that when you're locked up and your resources are very, very limited? He has, I think, a lot of resentment towards Will, that he has made himself accessible to him, and Will has moved away and gotten a family, and he's like, I'm not going to play into your games anymore, and I'm leaving Hannibal high and dry. And now, he knows what Will's weak point is, and I think that it's just true to his character to just have a little bit of fun with it.
I agree. I really think that now that this is almost over, we can see the full picture of the Bryan Fuller Hannibal Lecter, which is we kind of know is more like Lucifer. He's more of the devil. It seems like the Anthony Hopkins Hannibal Lecter is more of a sort of a psychopath, and less manipulator, more psychopath. Whereas Mad's version is just this puppet master, manipulator, kind of Lucifer, who really just takes pleasure in finding out what people will do, and it has no problem telling them this is what I did to you. What do you think of that? In a very curious sort of way as a doctor, and he eats people.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I think it's a lot more. Hannibal's always been a really rich, juicy, layered character, but I think I love this version of him.
Yeah. So let's get back to the episode. So we have we see sort of a repeat of Dollarhide eating. It starts with him eating the painting, which I mentioned last week. I thought it was very cool the way he ate it. We can talk to you about that, but just we're really impressed with my man Thorne's performance. Richard Armitage.
I think it's Armitage, but I don't know.
Armitage P. Henson. Armitage. No.
Armitage P. Henson.
Someone already gave me the Webby for worst pronunciation on YouTube.
Yeah, is Braswell pronouncing something wrong? That never happened.
No. Richard Armitage.
Yes.
I think we talked a lot about his performances. I think he's the best. I think he's the best Dollarhide, right? Or no?
I think he's definitely a fresh take on Dollarhide, which I think is amazing and my favorite now, but in 6 years when I go and rewatch everything, I don't know. I don't know what I'll feel then.
I think that he's doing a fantastic job as Dollarhide, and he has this unique opportunity to have 6 hours or 7 hours, however many episodes we have, to really develop this character rather than the 2.5 hours that we'll get in a movie.
That's a good point.
He really gets to delve deep, and I'm witnessing it and I'm seeing it and I'm kind of understanding him a lot more than I've understood past Dollar Hides.
Yeah, I agree. So we get to see, which is a cool scene of Jack, Will, and Alana. The gang's back together again. You know.
I was reading my notes before we started, and I said my first note is looky. Alana Bloom is back in the think tank.
Back in the think tank. Yeah, it was a cool scene of like, and it's cool to see them thinking, knowing what they've all individually been through. I mean, like they've all really got it from. I mean, you know, they've all had physical confrontations with Hannibal on a high level. Like he almost killed them both. Jack twice. And Alana, you know, of course, was getting digmatized the whole time. And so, and also she had her little cup of coffee with Mason. But now they're all back together trying to figure out how to put this guy down. And I thought Jack's reaction to, like, he ate it, like you know.
I loved that reaction.
Yeah.
It was like a nice little sprinkle of a comedic moment. He's like, he ate it. He ate the painting. He's like, and Will is like, yeah, he ate it. Yeah. And it took a really intense scene and kind of brought it back down to a level where two friends were just kind of like gossiping.
Yeah,
you're like, dude, he ate it.
Yeah, no, we should have saw what they said about it. But I also really enjoyed Julia. I thought of you because that was really a cool sort of Will's little mini monologue about, Jack, you've brought me back into the whole deal.
Fisher of men.
Like,
watching my corpse swim.
Hugh Dancy's chewing that up, man.
Oh, I have seen it up too.
She wrote it down.
Me, of course. Well, Fisher of Men, and you got me again, which is so true because, we talk about Hannibal being such a puppet master. Jack is equally as puppet mastery as Hannibal, especially in this season. So I like to see him called out, but it was also reminiscent of that scene, I think it was in season 2, when they were ice fishing.
Yeah.
Talking about I'm a great fisherman and things like that. He's like, you're at it again, you jerk.
Yep.
Do you think Will was surprised by that at all, or do you think that was just like Will the whole time was like, oh, I see where you were going here?
Well, no, I think Will is kind of like it's a thing of like knowing I know what Jack's trying to do, but there's no way I'm going to do it. I'm a family man. I'm out the game. He's not going to get me. Who does Jack think he is?
Out the game.
I'm Will Graham. And then he looks up and he's like, shit, I'm back in the game. Goddamn. You Fisher of Men, you got me. So yeah, I think it's more. It's that, So it's sometimes you look up and you're like, God, I'm here.
I get here.
I think that's what that sort of that.
I've been bamboozled.
Yeah, exactly. Hoodwinked. Let him hook. So yeah, but that was kind of even Jack's reaction was kind of like, hey, what do you want from me? I'm Jack. So I like.
I thought the same thing as a reaction. Just sorry.
Like, sorry, buddy. I got a killer to catch. What do you want from me? Families are dying, but I thought that was really cool. Also, there's a lot in these last few episodes. I'm really interested to see in this Red Dragon back arc how much dialogue. There's so much, like, so many pages with no dialogue. Like so much as watching Dollar Hyde do his thing, and I mean it's a lot. So I mean I remember sometimes I'm watching and then I'm just like no one spoke for a while. There's been no one talking.
Are you talking about during his kind of transformation?
There's at least 2 or 3 scenes in these last few episodes where we just get a lot of like visual stylings of either Guillermo Navarro or Michael Raymer or whoever's directing.
Well, I think it's really creative because at least to me, when you have Dollar Hyde, I think that those are the scenes between Dollar Hyde and Dragon, and how do you take a scene like that and give it dialogue without making it seem really cheesy and contrived?
Right.
You kind of have to do it visually, and why not do it visually when you have like some of the best? What they do visually now is so great. So this is really kind of like being a kid in a candy store, giving them a project to get this done. So I think it's a great way to communicate that.
I agree completely. That was a really good thought. I like that. And also, Dollar Hyde obviously is not a talker. Yeah. He has a speech impediment, cleft palate, and so he was raised to, not to talk, and he was always made fun of. So that's just another level that Armitage is bringing to this character of how he communicates with himself, with his body, and with this struggle, this personality struggle with the Red Dragon.
He's really, he's got some moves with the body. Like he's got the whole.
It's like physically demanding. I'm sure he's out of breath after some of those scenes.
That fight scene.
Yeah. Or forget that. Like, how about this CrossFit over here? How about the handstand push-ups?
That was a fine handstand push-up.
That was a fine.
I was impressed.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. So let's get. So I want to get to this confrontation, or not confrontation. This the interaction between Hannibal and Dollarhide, where he's sort of really trying to confess or seek advice from Hannibal about Reba, like how he doesn't want the dragon to have her, and he doesn't want to do this. And
I thought that was great. I thought that was great that they gave him a session, because it was so, I mean, we talked about it a lot, and we know that this is kind of the struggle between him, but to actually get him to verbalize it to Hannibal in a session atmosphere was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And like and you can just see the puppet strings. You can see like Hannibal's just like has this whole thing on rails. Like, yeah, well, you don't have to do it.
Yeah, if it weren't for the dragon, you would have never had her. Yeah, so you got to give him credit.
And the dragon's in your belly now, so you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Here, why don't you kill Will?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. There's a full moon coming right up. Yeah. You can just kill this family and then boom.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting to see, and to see Hannibal just supremely manipulate poor. And I hate, again, why am I sympathizing with these serial killers? Like, this Dollarhide is a bad dude. He's shooting kids in beds and putting mirrors on eyes and private parts. Yeah. And I'm all, poor Dollarhide.
He's had a rough go of it.
Why?
He's had a rough go.
Yeah. So, and just to see him in that, and the internal struggle, they did a really good job of talking that sort of visually personifying that internal struggle between him and the dragon. The actual Dollarhide is just like, I'm sorry, and the dragon is trying to be out and do some dragon shit. So,
I also love the device of them having the sit-down serious therapy session in his old office that we saw so many therapy sessions go down, and then at the end of their therapy session, seeing Dollarhide in the room with everything covered up with plastic, and Hannibal sitting there by his phone with a cord. So makes me uncomfortable.
I think they did it just to not confuse the audience. What I found really interesting about this particular session with Dollarhide and Hannibal was last episode was the first time we hear Dollarhide talking to Hannibal, and he takes on the Red Dragon persona, and he is talking to Hannibal as the Red Dragon. Right. Well, this episode, he's now more vulnerable. He is talking to Hannibal as Dollarhide. So that he's opened up and really kind of become like a small child to Hannibal, and is looking for that guidance. I just thought that was another cool take on it.
Well, he's also been opened up by his relationship with Reba as well, which is sort of drawing him back into the Francis side versus the dragon side. So it's kind of like he's seeking a real therapy session instead of just like, hey, look at me, look how cool I am, I want to impress you because I look up to you. And I was like, well, actually, Doc, can we talk this out?
So I met this girl. Right?
This girl.
And I was like, come on, I need to go kill Will's family. Get on with it.
I don't want to kill her,
so
but I think I gotta kill her.
Regression.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good point.
Yes, we talk about Michael Rammer, Guillermo de Navarro, and then Michael Rammer this episode, talking about this, like the way they set up the office and set up this visual look. The very similar thing they did with Will and these Will and Hannibal confrontations, because that's part of the whole lore of this whole series is Hannibal and Clarice, or Hannibal and Will, and these one-on-one conversations that we've seen so many different times through the glass. I love the way they're doing it here. Like, he's shooting them like you can barely see the pain. They're face to face, like they're equals. Even though Hannibal is, the one who's behind bars, it sort of feels like that either he's out or he's cornering Will, and the way he shoots it from above. I think it's some really interesting thing from a cinematography standpoint to sort of just still show Hannibal's power and show these people as equals. And they've done a lot of that. I think Guillermo Navarro did the thing on the glass where he looks in the glass and it's Will's face and Hannibal's face. They continued a lot of that stuff here. They're finding out new ways to get this confrontation in, because at the end of the day, it's just a dude in a cell, and everybody goes to see the dude. So how do you you
gotta get creative. You have to really kind of think about, like, okay, we have one room, this is what we've got to work with, like how many different ways can we shoot this, and what is each shot communicating. Each shot is communicating something. Like, everything is so intentional on this show. It's brilliant.
It's very good. So So Jack goes, and then I'm sorry if I keep going saying Jack. Hannibal tells Dollarhide to kill Will's family, plants the seed, and it goes down. I didn't know it was happening like that. But then before that, we have the scene where the dogs are poisoned, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of a weird sad thing because.
But they're fine.
But the dogs
are fine. I know that dead.
At least he didn't kill them like he killed the others.
Yeah. But still, we've seen these dogs this whole time.
What does that mean? That
dogs.
he didn't kill them, that he just poisoned them? Because was it Dollarhead that actually poisoned these dogs, or was it really the dog food?
I can't remember.
Because the vet was telling Will's wife that it was probably the Chinese dog food. So was this just misdirection for the audience, or was this really Dollarhide that did this? Because wouldn't Dollarhide have killed the dogs?
It's part of his MO. I don't know. Did he kill all the animals, or did he poison any of them before? I can't remember now.
I also.
I think that the cat was buried.
Log on here.
And the dog had disappeared, and I think the dog was dead. And there were only 2 other animals because of the 2 other families, correct?
I mean, Will has a lot of dogs, and if they're all eating the same food, they only talked about a couple of dogs in this. Also, I mean, it's his MO, and we did see him watching the videotape, the film of the family, and it did show the dogs.
Yeah.
That's true, and I guess that will imply. All right, I'll
Which
accept
is
that.
a scene. It's just a chilling scene when you read it. It's a chilling scene. Oh, there's us. It's a chilling.
Careful.
Sorry. It's a chilling scene when you read it. It's a chilling scene when you see it. And just the idea of I got it. I'm okay here. I'm trying to get it on our live chat here to our people. Spelling everything. But also, the idea of him, Reba being blind and then watching TV together.
Creepy juxtaposition.
And she's like, he's like,
we're all cuddly, having a martini.
This is the family I'm going to kill.
It's like Dollarhead's perfect woman. He can still he can be completely open around her and not have to hide anything because she can't see anything.
Right. All right, I'm online.
Okay, hi everybody.
People.
Hi,
Donna and Matt and GB and F and JA and Stephen Elliott and Jonas. Hi. Anyway, so we get this very cool. The cool scene, like I said, that I thought was going to be in the season finale, that was now, but it was a little completely different, right? Because it wasn't on the docks and
First
it wasn't
of all, it wasn't at the beach. Will wasn't even there.
No,
because Will's there in the book and the scene and in the movies, and
it was very much a climax of the movie and
Dollarhead meets a different fate.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So,
but a daring escape, all the same.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, well, they couldn't have ended the way that since they decided to do that kind of first. I mean, that was the end. So since they decided to bring that in first, they could have, So it's interesting where they're going to take the story from here.
Oh, but it's such an interesting scene in the book, that face-off between Will and Dollarhide at their house with his son. If you guys haven't read it or haven't seen it, when this is all over,
go do so.
Go do so, because it's really cool what he does.
My prediction didn't come true, though. My prediction that she was going to be dead.
Yeah,
the family. It didn't come true. I mean, there's still time.
Well,
there's still time.
There's still time.
Yeah, maybe they'll do reverse, whatever.
She was smart.
Yeah, I love seeing Molly. I love seeing those some good thriller, stuff happening there. But all those moves she made,
we don't know much about Molly or her past.
Hey, man,
Molly or Wally, which makes me laugh.
Is that my man's name? Is Wally?
Yeah, they call him Wally.
Molly and Wally. All right.
It's Walter, but they call him
Molly, Wally, and Will. That sounds like a 1980s sitcom.
It does. Molly, Wally, and Will. Or a Schoolhouse Rock song. Molly, Wally, and Will. I don't know.
It would have been fun to be in the writer's room for that, when you are, talking about what type of woman Will would be with, and, how would she seems to have this honed set of survival skills as well.
Right.
Is very outdoorsy too. So it was really fun, and to see that side. It's like, she can really hold her own. She's supportive of her man. She's like, I got this, taking care of her son. Yeah, it was very nice to know that she was savvy and not just like that damsel in distress type.
Yeah,
she takes care of business.
Yeah,
but we don't know what happened to her first husband, do we?
This is a base motel. Yeah, so I think Oh, good. Go ahead.
Even the son too. I mean, the son, when they're sitting at the hospital room, and the son is like, have you killed people? And he's like, are you going to kill this guy? And he's like, well, I'm going to take him to a hospital so you can get help. And the son's like, no, you should kill him.
Yeah.
Like that son don't play.
Like, it's like, yeah, like guys like that, you kill, Dad. I don't know.
Yeah. He's like 11 years old, and he's like.
Well, let's talk about this escape. So, the misdirection, the telling the son to count to 100 to go to the car, him peeking under. This is very well executed and shot, and I was at the edge of my seat, even knowing what happens. It's it's a great sign. And then them making that escape, and then the gun, the whole like silencer gun thing, and that was like eerie. And Dollarhide coming off like and that with the teeth and the Daredevil mask and the whole thing, like that was scary. And then and someone here mentioned that they felt sorry for the driver. I did too.
And Dollarhide probably
Stephen
feels
Elliott.
bad for the driver too, because they made a whole point talking about how he didn't kill the art curator or anyone at the museum or even Will, because that was not on his radar.
Right.
The dragon didn't tell him to do that.
Right.
So he's probably feeling pretty darn guilty.
Yeah, he was pretty upset about it.
Well, I mean, he got in a fight with Dragon over it.
Yeah, he's very upset about screaming to the heavens. So he goes back, and then we get to see Will, speak to his wife, and Will speak to the kid, and then the scene you talked about, of course, he says she killed him, which is cool. But then, as you mentioned, and I want to talk about this, we see him getting in a fight with the dragon. Like, he was upset about that. And also ending it, of course, with, or does he end it with Reba? Or does she end it with him? I'm sorry.
He ends it with Reba after the fight.
With the dragon.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so let's talk about the fight with the dragon. What happens? They fight.
It's awesome. I thought physically, as an actor, that must have been so demanding and difficult.
Very Fight
physically
Club.
and mentally. It was very Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Ed Norton again.
Yeah, Ed Norton. Hey, weird.
Yeah, look at that.
He's connected. 6 degrees of Ed Norton.
Anyways, it was shot beautifully. It was directed so well, and Armitage hit it out the park. I really think, because I was upset about it. I was rooting for different sides. And it's the same guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, what do I do?
And then those shots of it's like 3 shots of him hitting himself in the face at full.
Yes.
Like, that was like, ouch. Like, he's really kicking his own ass.
He gets up and his entire back is bloody, and it's just like, it was. It was
very well done.
I'm speechless.
So then he goes to poor old Reba.
Oh, Reba.
Well, yeah, and who's just carrying herself with a lot of independence and dignity, and the whole get your hat. What's the line with the hat?
I don't remember.
She said, "Get your hat." Yeah, hold on. It was like, "Get your hat, take your hat, take."
Something about the hat.
Take your hat and go. Hats off.
Well, she said before, I
Hats
just
away.
Is that what you tell your suitors? Is that what you tell your suitors to do when it's time for them to go? Hats away.
My suitors.
She mentioned the hat. Your suitors. She mentioned the hat twice. I don't know. I thought it was a weird kind of thing. Anyway, so she.
I mean, that's a phrase though. Take your hat and go.
Yes. Got it. Is that a phrase?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, no one told me to take my hat and go.
I didn't know it was a phrase either. I thought maybe it was some obscure line from the book, and I was like, is this that am I missing something?
All right. Anyway, so that's yeah.
Put on your hat and go.
Take your hat and go.
She's
I mean,
gone.
it sounds like it could be a phrase.
I think it is. I don't know.
All right. Well, she said it. He pieced out.
did
He
it.
ghosted. He's gone. And that happens. And then we get this final sort of confrontation with Will and Hannibal. Well, before that, we should mention, there's a big hole. Jack and Alana, they're pissed. They make the deal with Hannibal. They're like, dude,
This isn't. I'm so upset about this. I don't know if it's contrived, but why would you tell Hannibal? Why would you say anything to Hannibal? We know that he's been your patient. Keep him on the phone. You know what he's going to do.
I don't know, because the whole thing, they don't have any chips to play with Hannibal. It's really all they have. They can say, look, we've got you in this very cush cell with all your truffles and your
I'm going to take away your toilet if you don't keep him on the phone.
I'm going to take all this shit away if you don't do this thing. He's like, okay, I'll do it. And then he gets on the phone, and very reminiscent of, the last in season 1, what he did with what's her name's dad?
With Hobbs.
Hobbs, and what she did later with someone else. That whole like they know.
And Will did to him.
Yeah, they know exactly. So except they're listening. It's very, 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 very specific. And so Alana was very pissed, and we finally get the very iconic thing, which felt like it was underplayed. We get the iconic Hannibal in the Mask. And we got it. We got Will in the Mask in season 2. We got Hannibal in the Mask in season 3. Yep. I thought that was kind of a cool way to get him in that mask. I don't know. Yeah. Even though the mask doesn't suit Mads. He's not that kind of Hannibal. Like
maybe that's why they underplayed it. Maybe it's not, because he's not that. He's very, debonair, and you don't put somebody like that in the mask.
But it was a graceful looking mask compared to the iconic one that we know already, which is leather and metal. Like this was all white and pristine and probably made of porcelain.
And the idea is
dignified.
The idea in the movies is that like he's Hannibal the cannibal, so you got to keep. He might just with even though Mads is also the Hannibal the cannibal, it's more he's more refined.
Yeah, and he'll marinate you first, so he's not just going to go for you right away.
Leading us to this final confrontation with Will and Hannibal, which they sort of go back and forth, and Hannibal very much says, "I told him, what did you do? I gave him your address. I told him to kill you and your family." Like very matter of fact, and that was like and Will's very pissed, and it's this cool back and forth, and it really very much felt like I talked about how it was shot before, but it was very much like talking to the devil. I know, and even then, I got a hint of jealousy from Hannibal. So the way they played that, because it's more, I'm jealous, and I'm going to show you than like I'm an evil person, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
right?
And even at the beginning,
it's more scorn lover than psychopath.
Yes, see, it's good old fashioned jealousy can really drive a story.
Yeah,
when he was talking to Will before, and Will's like, "You're just going to let them die," and he's like, "No, I'm not going to let them die. You're going to let them die." And Hannibal knew that he was talking about his family, and then you cut back, it's just, it's really interesting. Hannibal is just so calculated.
Yeah. So go ahead, Jules. Anything to add on that?
I don't know. I mean, I think I've said it before. I think he has a lot of motivation or a lot of his motivation comes from resentment towards Will. I mean, Will tried to break up with him at the end, and he tried to say like, "No way, man, you're not going to break up with me." And he's brought him back to find that he has a different ready-made family. So the ready-made family that Hannibal tried to make for him, and now he's out there in his moral dignity pants and got off scot-free. And everyone's like, Will. Oh, and Will makes out super great in the end, and he's stuck here.
Hannibal's in the cell, like,
you don't write, you don't call.
Right,
exactly. I did this for you. It's all for you, Damien.
Yeah, I'm gonna send the. It's all for you, Damien. So scary.
So scary.
I'm like, no. I'm sending the dragon to get you. It's this whole thing. Well, we got 2 more episodes of Hannibal, and we'll see how this whole thing unfolds. Where you get to see the burning down of the house with the terrifying Reba walking through the burning house, which is cool. I'm sure that's coming. And
I bet that's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how they do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I really like the way that of all people hate Brett Ratner and hate Red Dragon, but I love the way Brett Ratner did it with. Oh my God, what's her name? Emma Watson, the actress.
Oh,
is that the one who played? I think it's Emma. I think it's not Emma Watson. Emma something. Anyway, no, Emily Watson.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
I got the answer.
Emily Watson was amazing. She's scared that her eyes were all big and it was all flaming. That was cool.
Yeah,
so that was
really
very
cool.
well shot by Brett Ratner. One of the few things he's done well. And what I say? Shots fired at Brett Ratner.
That was a low jab.
I mean, read the Rush Hour. I don't know the Rush Hours. Anyway. Interesting to see how they do that. We have some other stuff coming up, but besides the stuff that we know, let's get some predictions in here really quickly before we get out of here.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Dua.
Oh, me first. Well, I mean, I predict that
we have like 30 seconds
we are
to
not
go.
going to see the last of Reba, which is a prediction that. And I predict that Will's family is still going to die. I don't think that is over, and I still think that we're going to get that iconic scene with Will and Dollarhide at the top of the stairs in the sun. It'd be great if the sun killed Dollarhide.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
I like that.
Nice. Let's pull that out.
Yeah, I just busted that out.
Jules?
I still think Alana's going to die.
Yeah.
She is playing with fire. She's getting too close.
Yeah.
I think that her days are numbered.
Right.
I also think that Will is going to go into a little bit of a descent here. Be brought back to that. I mean, I think Hannibal's getting in his head a little bit, talking about craving change. Don't you crave change?
Yeah.
And, when he was talking to Molly and he says, I hate this, I'm sorry, I was like, dude, do you hate this? Are you sorry? Really? Or do you kind of love it again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so I think he's gonna.
I think Hannibal's getting out, even if it's for a season. I think he's gonna make him. I don't know. He's gonna do some sort of escape. I think he escapes. Did he do something? In
I
Red
could see him
Dragon?
escaping.
Or maybe it's
No, he
Silence of the
doesn't.
Lambs. He
Silence
escapes.
of
the Lambs, he escapes.
All right, never mind. But like, I feel like there's some sort of move coming. Maybe, but maybe not. I think Alana's gonna get it somehow. I don't know if it's going to be in the cell or not.
I like the escape thing. It'd be a way for them to kind of sneak in a little Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, and I wonder how. I mean, I'm really very curious to see how they end this, or how if they leave it out for a possible TV movie, or actually a new full-length feature movie.
Yeah,
so
and like,
knows?
are they going to bring Bedelia back for these next?
Martha De Laurentiis is a movie producer, so I mean, why not? Why not bring a reboot? We've seen lesser things have been rebooted, Chainsaw Massacre and whatnot. So
I love that idea.
Yeah, so we'll see. All right, let's get out of here for sure because someone will be late. So we have a top 34 minutes. Where can the people find you?
On the Twitter, DUAKAISSI. On the Twitters.
Yeah.
On the Twitters.
On the Twitter.
Love how you say that. You can find me, not that you asked, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Where can I find you?
Instagram with my name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley.
Right. You can find me, Joe Braswell, at Joe K. Braswell on Periscope, Twitter, and Instagram. And here... and also on our sister network, BHL, doing a show called Geek Nerd Tech. We do some tech reviews and geek stuff. And thanks for hanging in with us, Fanibles. We have 2 episodes to go. We'll see you next week. Oh, bye, everybody in the chat room. Bye. Oh, my iPad died. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.